really excited to be popping on today to just chat a little bit about personal power, what it is, why it's important, and how it can help us thrive in our day-to-day. So something I want to preface this with is personal power, personal agency, personal sovereignty. I believe these are all synonymous. They all kind of mean the same thing. And then I personally use kind of my branded term, reclamation queendom. And so if I use the word personal power or reclamation queendom, you can kind of, those are interchangeable. And that's kind of part of the very first point I want to make, is when someone is talking about living from a place of sovereignty or living from a place of agency, taking ownership of our own life. Those are all very integrated statements, all connecting to personal power. So I have my notes over here, so if you see me kind of looking over here, that's what's going on. And I wanted to let you know you can also read this as a blog post. This will be a little bit different because I'm sharing it with you and speaking it out. But for the most part, the concepts are exactly the same in my blog post if you take information in better by reading. So many of us enter the self-development world as pain as our primary catalyst. For me, that pain came from a misunderstanding and a misuse of power, from manipulation and dominance. And this manipulation, this misuse of power, it's all too familiar to many people, but especially those who identify as women and those who are from marginalized communities. For centuries, we have experienced power as a coercion, intimidating us into standing still, defining who we should and should not be, and dictating how we are supposed to act. It's this familiar message that tells us we cannot trust our own voice, and that we are only worthy if we fit into a specific box that society, religion, family, and the world at large has drawn for us. Sound familiar? These are the beliefs that have surrounded us. It's what we've grown up with, and it causes us to feel powerless. It causes us to feel incapable of exerting any control over our human experience. And that is where personal power or reclamation queendom comes into play, because we are all born with power. It's innately within us. No one can take it away, and no one can hand it back. It's up to us individually to harness our power and to conduct ourselves with authenticity and integrity. So what does this look like practically? The only thing we actually have power over is ourselves. So practically, personal power, personal sovereignty, is the act of taking ownership for ourselves and for our actions, how we are showing up in the world. For example, I used to work 60+ hour work weeks, which resulted in fatigue, burnout, and lack of creativity. When I was handing my power over to someone else, I did not craft healthy boundaries for myself. Instead, I yielded when I was told to work harder, when I was told to stop thinking so much and just get the job done. And then when I employed my power and I took it back, I began to act within my personal sovereignty, my reclamation queendom. And I was able to notice that my body needed rest. In response to my needs, I crafted healthy boundaries, which included going home at a reasonable time. In personal power, when I'm giving this example, personal power does not always mean pleasing the masses. And in fact, you may and most likely will experience resistance, conflict, and discomfort before it gets better. I know that's to be true of my own experience. When we set boundaries, when we speak our truth, not everyone is going to like or accept our choices. That is why many of us hand over our power. We desire safety. We want to belong. We want to minimize chaos. We want people to like us. That one gets me every time. It's a natural survival instinct. Truthfully, it's often easier in the moment to relent, to bend and to surrender. But eventually, we experience the long-term cost as we suffer within our own bodies, as we suffer within our psyche. In order to truly thrive, our whole selves must be allowed to shine. When we channel our power and speak our truth, when we lean into that initial discomfort and craft sustainable solutions for ourselves, our inner magic has the opportunity to flow freely. We can finally breathe again. We can trust ourselves again. We can be at home in our own bodies. We can create. We can laugh. Personal power, reclamation queendom, it's a path to true freedom. Freedom within. Freedom to live and thrive. And it all comes from within. So that is what I have for you today in regards to personal power. And again, I have this all written down in a blog post if it's easier to take in this information by reading it. Along with that, if you're still watching, I would love to invite you into my 3-day reset, personal power reset. It's going to start on Monday and then it will end on Wednesday. And I will be providing tools, journal prompts, and going live with Q&A, so that way we can step into personal power together. It is a journey. It takes exercising and practicing daily. And this 3-day reset is going to help take things back to the beginning, back to you, because you are the one who can make all this magic come to life. Nobody else, not someone outside of you. And that's the most beautiful piece about this, is it does not require you to reach externally for someone else to save you. You get to become your own reclamation queen. So I would love to invite you in. Shoot me a direct message if you have questions on this reset, or if you're ready to join, shoot me a direct message and let me know you're ready to join, and I would love to send you the link to sign up. All right, have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope this resonated.